The forest was quiet. Too quiet. Captain Daniel Rayner stepped carefully on the wet ground. The air was thick with mist. He could barely see 5 steps ahead. His breathing was slow, alert. The mission report said this area was safe. But something didn't feel right. Birds didn't sing. No animals moved. Even the wind seemed to be holding its breath. Rayner tightened the strap on his rifle. His boots sank slightly in the muddy path. Behind him, the shuttle had vanished into the fog. He was alone now, sent here to observe and make contact. A peaceful mission, they said. No danger, no combat, but soldiers learned to listen to their gut. And right now his gut was screaming. Then, crack, a tree branch snapped to his left. Rayner turned fast, rifle ready. Nothing, only the white wall of mist. Then a sound, a heavy breathing, slow, deep, and close. He wasn't alone. He stepped back slowly, eyes scanning. Then another sound. Not from the mist. Above him, he looked up. A massive shadow stood over him. A shape tall, wide, almost unreal. Then it spoke. You are not supposed to be here, human. The voice was low and powerful, female, but not human. Rayner didn't move. His training said, don't panic, but his body didn't listen. He froze, staring at the giant figure in front of him. The mist cleared slightly. Just enough to see her face. She was alien, yes, but not monstrous. Her skin was a soft gray-blue. Her eyes glowed faintly, golden. Her body was huge, at least 9 feet tall, strong, and built like a warrior. But her face? There was something else there. Sadness. She stepped closer. Her movements were slow, careful, like she didn't want to scare him. Still, Rayner aimed his rifle up, hands shaking. Don't, she said calmly, stopping. Rayner swallowed hard. Who are you? She looked at him quietly for a moment, then said, My name is Vera. This is my forest. You should leave. He didn't lower the weapon. I'm here on a peaceful mission, just observation, no harm. Vera's eyes narrowed. Humans never come without harm. Before Rayner could reply, something large moved behind her. A sudden thump, like a foot hitting the ground. He raised the rifle again, but Vera held up her hand. That was me, she said. I walk heavily. It's hard not to when you're this size. Rayner blinked. Was that humor in her voice? She turned and walked a few steps away, then sat down on a large rock. Her legs folded under her like a statue. He didn't know why, but he lowered his rifle. She looked at him again. You're afraid. That's normal. Most men fear me, even my own kind. Rayner slowly walked closer, stopping a safe distance away. Why? He asked. She didn't answer at first. Then softly she said, Because I am too big, too strong, too much, not good for normal life. He frowned. You live here alone? Yes. Why? She looked away. Because I was not made for love, or family, or anything soft. They said my body was made for war, not for breeding. Rayner felt a strange twist in his chest. She wasn't threatening him. She was broken somehow. Like a soldier with old wounds, he sat down slowly on a nearby log, still keeping distance. I don't think size decides those things. Vera looked at him, surprised. No one had ever said that to her before. Then suddenly, roar. A loud growl echoed through the forest. Trees shook. Something big was coming. Rayner jumped to his feet. What the hell was that? Vera stood too, eyes scanning the trees. It's one of the jungle beasts. You shouldn't have come here. They hunt humans. Rayner aimed his weapon toward the sound. Let it come. I can handle... No, she said firmly, moving in front of him. It'll kill you. He blinked. Why are you protecting me? She didn't look at him. Just whispered, because I already let too many die. Then, from the mist, 2 glowing eyes appeared. Claws, teeth, it charged. Rayner raised his gun, ready to fire. But before he could, Vera jumped forward with a roar of her own. The mist swallowed them both. And then, silence. She could crush him with one hand. That was the first clear thought in Rayner's mind as he opened his eyes. Pain throbbed through his head. The world was blurry. The last thing he remembered was the roar. The beast and her massive body flying past him. Now. He was lying on something soft too soft for a jungle floor. He blinked. Above him was a cave roof, glowing with faint blue light. Crystals in the stone gave off a soft hum. Warmth surrounded him. He tried to move, but a strong hand pushed him gently back down. Don't move, human. You hit your head. Her voice, calm, steady, and close. Vera, he looked to his left. She was kneeling beside him. Her body was huge even while crouching. One of her hands held a cloth soaked in green liquid. The other rested lightly near his chest, not pressing. Just ready. Where are we? Raynor asked, groaning. My home. The beast would have torn you apart. I killed it. He stared at her. She wasn't even bleeding. You fought that thing? Alone? She didn't answer. Just nodded once. Like it wasn't important, but it was. That beast was the size of a tank. You saved my life, Raynor whispered. She looked away. I didn't do it for you, he frowned. Then why? She stood, towering over him. Her back faced him now. Broad shoulders. Muscles like armor. But she looked tired, because I've lost enough. Her voice was softer this time. Raynor sat up slowly. Vyra. What happened to you? She didn't move. The cave fell silent. Only the hum of the crystals remained. Then finally, she spoke. I was a soldier, a champion. I led armies. Killed enemies. My people called me a hero, Raynor nodded. Sounds like you were respected. No, she said coldly. They feared me. They whispered behind my back. Sighed. I was too strong, too big, not soft enough, not woman enough. Asterisk. She turned, and for the first time, Raynor saw real pain in her eyes. Not the pain of battle, but of being alone. They said I wasn't built for bonding. My body wouldn't carry young. I was unfit for love. Raynor looked at her, really looked. The scars on her arms, the way her jaw tightened when she spoke. Not anger, but shame. No one's unfit for love, he said. She laughed, but it wasn't happy. Easy for you to say you're small. Normal? You belong to a world full of soft women and warm homes? He stood slowly, walked toward her. Her height still made him feel like a child. But he didn't flinch. I belong to a world full of lies, he said quietly. My people sent me here, said it was a peace mission. They didn't tell me anything about you or this place. Maybe they wanted me to fail. Vera's golden eyes studied him. Why didn't you run? Raynor smiled faintly. Because something told me I shouldn't. Silence again. Then she reached out slowly and touched his shoulder. Her hand was huge, covering half his chest. But the touch was careful, gentle, like she was afraid she might break him. I don't understand you, she said. Raynor chuckled. I don't understand me either. Outside, the wind howled. Another storm was coming. He looked around. You live here, alone? She nodded. Double quotes, no one visits? No one dares. Raynor stepped closer. Do you want them to? She looked down. Her voice was barely a whisper. No one has ever stayed long enough to ask. Just then, thunder cracked outside the cave. The mist returned, thick and dark. Vera moved to the cave entrance, her spear ready. Raynor followed. Another beast? She shook her head. No, something worse. From the mist, red lights blinked, mechanical, not natural. A sound like engines echoed in the valley. Raynor's eyes widened. Those are drones, human drones. Vera didn't look surprised. They've come to kill me. He turned to her. No, you saved me. I'm not letting them hurt you. She looked down at him, shocked. You'd fight your own kind? She asked. Raynor raised his rifle. I don't see any kindness in them. She stared at him for a long moment. Then, slowly, Vera smiled, not a full smile. Just a small one, but it was the first time she had smiled in years. The drones didn't make noise. They didn't need to. They floated like silent ghosts through the mist, small, fast, deadly. Their red lights blinked softly in the fog, almost peaceful. Until they fired, the first blast came without warning, a flash. A hum. A tree exploded behind the cave entrance. Raynor dove to the ground. Vera didn't. She stood firm, her eyes locked on the red dots approaching through the trees. They found me again. she whispered. Raynor scrambled to his feet, grabbing his rifle. You said they'd come. How long have they been hunting you? She didn't turn. Since the last time I let someone close. Another blast hit the rock wall. Sparks flew. A piece of the cave ceiling cracked. Raynor shouted, We have to. Move! But Vera was already ahead, leaping into the mist like a shadow with legs. She moved fast for someone her size. Too fast. Raynor struggled to keep up, ducking between roots and rocks, heart pounding. They reached a cliff edge. Below, fog, forest, and flashes of red light weaving through the trees. Vera dropped to one knee and scanned the land. Her breathing was calm, controlled. Raynor crouched beside her. What do they want? They want to erase me, she said. He looked at her, confused. Why? You're not hurting anyone. She turned to him slowly. Her voice was colder now. Because I'm a memory they want to bury. Raynor looked down at the forest. You said you were a soldier. You said you were a hero. That's what they called me until I said no. A pause. Raynor watched her face, strong, sharp, but broken. No to what? She clenched her jaw. They wanted to use me to breed new warriors. Strong ones, controlled ones. I refused. Sighed, I was more than a weapon. She looked away. So they labeled me unstable, sent drones. Made sure I disappeared. Raynor was silent. His rifle suddenly felt like a toy in his hands, then zzzzzzzzzzz. A red laser beam sliced through the air, burning the tree beside them. Vera pulled him back just in time. They're too close. They ran again, deeper into the forest. As they moved, Raynor noticed something strange. The forest seemed to shift around Vera. Branches moved out of her way. Vines curled aside. Like the jungle knew her. Finally, they stopped near a fallen ship. Its metal was old, cracked. Moss had grown over the nameplate. Exodus 9, Raynor pointed. That's a human ship, Vera nodded. Yours, crashed here years ago. He stepped closer, touching the rusted metal. What happened to the crew? She looked away. Raynor turned. Sharply, Vera, what happened to them? I saved them, she said softly, and still, they turned on me. A memory burned in her eyes, men with fear in their faces. Her own people watching her like a monster, being thanked one day, and hunted the next. Raynor swallowed hard. They're doing it again? Suddenly a sound above, whirring, buzzing, a shape dropped from the sky, a larger drone. Combat class, Vera stood tall, lifting her handmade spear. The drone locked on her. Raynor aimed his rifle. I'll distract it, you go. No, she stepped forward. I end this now, the drone fired. Raynor shouted, Vera! She didn't dodge. She leapt straight into the path of the blast. Her spear spun through the air and pierced the drone's core. It exploded midair, falling in pieces around her. She landed hard. Smoke rose from her shoulder. Burned, but still standing, Raynor ran to her. You're hurt. She shook her head. I've had worse. Then, from the forest, a voice crackled through a speaker. Target locked. Female specimen is alive. Send backup. Do not engage the human. He's expendable. Raynor froze. They're using me as bait. Vera's face darkened. You were never meant to return. They sent you to draw me out. Raynor's chest tightened. They lied to me. She touched his shoulder gently. Now you understand? He looked up at her. What do we do? She glanced back at the jungle. We survive. Together. The red lights grew brighter behind the trees. Raynor gripped his rifle. Vera gripped her spear, and together, they ran into the mist. Her hand hovered over his chest. But she didn't let it land. Vera had killed a war drone an hour ago. But now she stood frozen, shaking not from fear of machines, but from something far more dangerous. Hope. Raynor lay on the ground, eyes closed, chest rising slowly. The blast had knocked him out cold when the drone exploded nearby. Vera had dragged him to a hidden cave near the cliffs, a place she hadn't entered in years. It used to be sacred. She kneeled beside him, one massive hand hovering just above his heart, so close, one touch. That's all. But she couldn't do it. This is forbiddance, she whispered to herself. Not. Because of rules, there were no more rules, not for her. Her kind had already exiled her. The humans wanted her dead. She lived in between, not quite beast, not quite woman, not quite anything. She pulled her hand back. He stirred. His eyes blinked open. Vera? She backed away quickly, almost too fast for someone her size. I'm here, she said. You're safe. Raynor sat up slowly, wincing. I thought I heard your voice. She turned away, not answering. His eyes scanned the cave. This place ... It feels different. Warmer, she nodded once. It's where I was born. Before the soldiers. Before the silence. Raynor noticed something on the wall, markings. Not words, but carved shapes. Two figures, one tall and wide. The other small, their hands touched. He looked at her. That's you? Vera didn't answer. She only said, It was a lie. A dream someone drew for me. Said I'd find someone who'd stay. Raynor stood up even though his body hurt. He walked to her. Slowly, carefully. I'm still here, he said. She shook her head, still facing away. You don't understand. I'm not made for this. My people said I could never bond. My body was built wrong, too big, too ... cold. Raynor stepped closer. You don't seem cold to me. She turned her head slightly. Her golden eyes met his. I could break you, she said. Just by holding you too tight, he smiled. Then, hold me gently. Silence filled the cave. Then a sharp voice echoed from the entrance. So, it's true. Vera froze. Raynor spun around, weapon ready. From the shadows stepped another alien male, tall, strong like her, but thinner. His armor was cracked. His eyes burned with rage. Vera of the Black Flame, he said mockingly. Reduced to hiding in caves and whispering to humans. Vera's eyes narrowed. Leave, Kor. This isn't your place anymore. Kor stepped closer. He touched you? This tiny human touched you? Raynor raised his rifle. I don't care who you are. Back off, Kor laughed. You think she wants you, little man? Her body was made for war, not for mating. Not for love. You'll die the moment she lets go. Raynor didn't back down. Maybe you just couldn't handle her. Vera stepped between them, spear in hand. Enough, Kor stared at her. You disgraced your bloodline. She pointed the spear at his chest. And you lost your right to speak to me. For a long moment no one moved. Then Kor spat at the ground. When they come for you both, I won't help. I'll let them burn your bones. And he vanished. Into the mist, Raynor lowered his weapon, breathing hard. Vera stood still. He looked at her. You okay? She didn't speak for a moment. Then, softly, he was once my bondmate, a long time ago. Before they told me I couldn't be loved. Raynor walked to her, slowly, carefully. I don't believe them. She looked down at him. Why? He reached out. This time he touched her hand, big, strong, shaking slightly. Because right now, I feel more alive standing next to you than I ever did among my own kind. Her fingers curled slowly. Around his, for a moment, the cave was quiet. No war. No fear. Just the sound of two hands finding each other in the dark, but then a small, red light blinked from outside, not loud. Not fast, just waiting. Vera's eyes narrowed. They've sent scouts again. We have little time. Raynor squeezed her hand. Then we run, together. She gave him a single nod. Her face still fierce, but her hand never let go. It wasn't her size that made him feel small. It was the way she looked at him, like she could see everything he was trying to hide. Raynor sat near the edge of a quiet waterfall, steam rising in the cold night air. His rifle lay beside him, untouched. For the first time in days, there were no drones, no attacks, just the sound of water. And her breathing. Vera stood in the pool beneath the falls, waist deep, steam curling around her body. The moonlight caught on her wet skin, tracing over muscles, scars, and the sharp lines of someone built for war, but carrying the silence of someone who never wanted it. She looked up at him. Not with hunger. Not with command. With a question. Why are you still here, Raynor? He didn't answer right away. Just watched the steam drift around her like the jungle was afraid to touch her directly. Then he said softly, Because when I'm near you, I forget I'm a broken man. Vera tilted her head slightly. confused. You don't look broken, she said. He chuckled. That's because you haven't seen what's inside. She walked slowly toward the edge of the pool. The water moved. With her. Her shadow stretched over him as she stepped out, droplets falling like sparks on the rocks. He didn't move. She knelt in front of him, this giant, battle-hardened woman, and whispered, "You make me feel small." Raynor blinked. "What?" Vera touched her chest where her heart would be, not weak, just less alone, lighter, like I'm not carrying everything by myself. He looked up at her, seeing something he never expected, shyness, for a warrior like her to admit that. It meant more than any kiss. Raynor reached up. His hand, so small against her chest, rested just over her heart. "You don't have to carry anything alone anymore." She looked at his hand, not in fear. Not in doubt, not in wonder. "I don't know how to do this," she whispered. "I don't know how to be soft," he smiled. "Good. I don't need soft. I need real." She leaned in slowly, eyes searching his. "And if I break you? Then we'll break together." He whispered back. Their lips met. Gentle at first, careful, testing but then she pulled him close, holding him as if he might disappear, and he didn't resist. They stayed there a long time, wrapped in arms. That once new only battle. The next morning, the silence broke. Vera stood alone at the edge of the clearing, spear in hand. Her eyes were scanning the skies. Raynor approached, rubbing sleep from his eyes. "What is it?" She didn't look at him. "Something's wrong." He stepped beside her. "You feel it?" She nodded slowly, like the jungle's holding its breath again. Then came the sound, low, distant, mechanical. Not a drone, bigger, slower, a dropship. Raynor's heart sank. "They sent full extraction." She glanced at him. "Not extraction, Raynor, erasure." He swallowed hard. "We run?" She looked at him, her eyes different now, focused, protective. "No," she said. "We lead them away." Raynor shook his head. "You're injured." "I can." She turned sharply, voice like steel. Not weak." Then softer, almost like an apology. "But I am scared. Scared of losing this. Losing you." Raynor touched her arm. "Then let's survive. Not just run, survive together." She gave a slow nod. They began packing quickly. Silent teamwork, eyes on the sky, hands brushing. Trust growing in every movement. As they moved out, Raynor stopped and looked back at the cave. It felt like home for a moment. Vera didn't turn. "Then let's find a place where it can be, always." Far above them, the dropship scanned. The jungle. Inside, a human commander watched the thermal scans. "Target moving southeast," a soldier reported. "And the human?" "Still with her." The commander scowled. He was supposed to weaken her, not bond with her. The screen zoomed in, 2 figures. One tall and glowing with heat, one small. "But steady. Prepare the toxin missiles," the commander ordered. "This time, she doesn't walk away." Asterisk. The sky bled purple when the storm came. But it wasn't just rain. It was poison. Raynor stared up as black clouds rolled in fast. Unnaturally fast. Lightning cracked sideways through the sky, blue, then red. A warning from above. This wasn't weather. This was war. Vera stood in front of him, her body already covered in mud and rain. The wind whipped her long hair back. She was still, silent, but her eyes weren't calm anymore. They were calculating. Raynor shouted over the thunder, "Is this natural?" She shook her head once. "No, it's a cleansing storm, manufactured, coded. They're not just hunting anymore, they're erasing." He narrowed his eyes. "You said your people use storms to hide. Now they're using them to kill." She turned her head, meeting his eyes. "They learned from me." Raynor's chest tightened. They ran again, but this time there was no plan, no direction. Just escape. The wind roared around them, carrying a chemical smell that burned the nose. Trees began to fall. Leaves turned black. Birds dropped mid-flight. Raynor stumbled, coughing. Vera caught him with one arm and kept running. They found a cave, barely. A hole in the rocks, and squeezed in. She blocked the wind with her body, sheltering him from the storm like a living wall. He gasped for air. "We can't outrun it." She said nothing, just held him close, but something in her body trembled, not from fear, from pain. Raynor pulled back. "Vera, you're bleeding." She looked down. The side of her stomach was cracked open, not from the storm, but from earlier. "The drone fight, you didn't say—" She cut him off. "It's nothing." "It's not nothing." He shouted. Her breath came slow now, weak. She leaned her head against the stone, and then she whispered something. "Raynor, something's wrong with me." His heart raced. "What do you mean?" Her golden eyes met his. "Not fierce this time, just scared. My body, it's changing. I feel it. Something's growing. It's not just pain, it's life." Raynor stared at her. "Are you saying?" She nodded. "Yes, I'm pregnant." Silence filled the cave. Even the wind outside seemed to pause. He stepped closer. "But I thought, you said you see OULDN single quotes D. I believed it too," she said softly. "I thought I was made wrong, unworthy, unnatural." Raynor sat down beside her, gently touched her hand. "You're not broken, Vera," her voice cracked. "Then why does it feel like the world wants me dead, just for being alive?" He didn't have an answer. So he did the only thing he could. He held her. She was so much bigger than him, stronger, smarter, but in that moment, she curled against him like a child. Let herself be small for the first time. The storm outside raged. "Louder," Raynor whispered. "We're not going to die in this cave. You're not going to raise this child in fear." She looked up at him. "Then what do we do?" He stared into the dark. "We survive. We fight, but not alone. Elsewhere, on the human warship above the clouds. Sir, scans confirm fetal development in the alien subject." The commander turned sharply. "Excuse me? Confirmed? Human DNA has merged. Successful hybrid growth." The commander's eyes narrowed. "That thing's breeding?" Silence. "Change the order. Forget the kill shot. We want the body, alive." Back in the cave, Raynor and Vera moved through the shadows, deeper underground now, through forgotten tunnels. Her steps were slower. He stayed close. "This baby," she said, voice low, "it's not just a child. It's proof." "Proof of what?" "That I was always enough." Raynor squeezed her hand. "You were more than enough?" "They were just too small to see it." Above them, the storm finally broke. But what was coming next? Would be worse. Because now, both sides wanted her alive, but not safe. She didn't hear the wind. She didn't feel the ground shaking. She only heard the heartbeat, soft and steady, inside her. For the first time in her life, Vera felt small. In the best way, not weak, not worthless, but part of something bigger than war, bigger than fear. A child was growing inside her. Her child, and for that child, she would fight the world. The cave system was deeper now, old, forgotten. Raynor moved beside her, his arm wrapped tightly around her waist. She was limping, but still standing. "You should rest," he said softly. She shook her head. "They're coming." He didn't argue. They both felt it. The air was different. The earth vibrated. "Not from bombs, from engines. They're landing ships," Vera said. "They want to take me alive." Raynor tightened his grip on his weapon. "They're not taking anything." She looked at him. "They don't want me. They want what's inside me." Silence. Then she whispered, almost to herself, "For so long, I believed I wasn't meant for this." Raynor turned to her. "Vera?" She looked up, her golden eyes filled with something new, not rage, not grief. Hope. "I thought I was made wrong. But this life inside me, it doesn't feel wrong. It feels like truth." Raynor reached for her hand. She didn't flinch this time. "I don't care how they see you," he said. "You gave me more than I thought I could ever feel again. You showed me what strength really means." She smiled, just a little. Then the ground shook again, louder, closer. They were out of time. Outside, near the jungle's edge, human soldiers moved in tight lines, their suits heavy, their visors glowing. In their ears, one command: capture the female alive. "Use force? The human male is expendable." One soldier paused. Sir, there's a child? It's not a child, it's a weapon. Back in the cave, Vera removed the last piece of armor from her shoulder. The wounds were healing slowly, but her eyes burned with focus. She turned to Raynor. You need to go. You can survive without me. He stepped back, almost insulted. We're not doing that. Not now, not ever. I can hold them off. She insisted, you can protect the child. You are the protection, he said. You always were. For a moment, the storm in her heart stilled. Then a strange sound echoed through the tunnel, a soft, mechanical chirp. A tiny drone floated into view. It didn't attack. It scanned. A second later, a voice echoed through the tunnel. We see you. We're coming. Raynor looked at her. No more running? Vera shook her head. No more hiding. They made their stand at the cave mouth, vines above. Shadows behind. Raynor took one side, rifle loaded. Vyra stood tall, spear in hand, stomach glowing faintly with the strange warmth of new life. The first soldiers arrived in seconds. Stand down? One barked. You are carrying unauthorized hybrid DNA. You will be detained. Vera didn't blink. This child is mine. You can't program love. You can't design worth. Another step forward. Guns raised, Raynor shouted, You're not getting her. Then chaos. Blasts, fire, smoke, but Vera was a storm of her own. Spear spinning, fists crushing metal, war cry rising from deep within. She didn't fight to kill. She fought to protect. To prove that she was not too much, not a mistake, not a tool. Just a mother, a warrior, a woman, and in that moment they couldn't touch her. When the smoke cleared, the soldiers were gone. The jungle was quiet. Raynor limped toward her. Blood on his arm, mud on his face. You okay? He asked, breathless. She nodded, hand on her stomach. We're okay. He smiled. You're glowing. She raised an eyebrow. That's sweat. He laughed. Then she touched his face. Her giant palm, soft now, cradling him like something precious. I was never too big, she said. They were just too small. Raynor leaned in. And now? She looked up at the sky where the clouds had cleared. Now, I'm enough.